we had a beautiful spring day today, sunny 70s, perfect riding weather. So the wife and I decided to hop on the Spyder and go out for a nice ride today. It was very enjoyable. So when we get back home, we had a couple of accessories waiting for us. I have a 12-volt socket I want to install. Just a regular lighter socket type plug. And then I have a wiring harness for my Garmin GPS that I want to hardwire in. I do have a mount for the GPS, so I want to get this hardwired in. We do have a cord here that the factory installs for us for battery tender. So what I need to do is take this liner out of here because the battery is down behind there, and that'll give us access. Now I believe what I'm going to do is put the 12-volt socket up inside of that little storage area up in there, and then we'll just run the wiring down to the battery. Should be not too bad. So let me start by getting this cover off. And the way you're going to do that is actually this piece here, you're going to pop out. Okay, that just lifts right out. And then there are 4 pins that hold this liner in. So you basically just want to take these pins, pop them out, toss those in there for now. Okay, and then once we get these out, it's just going to be a matter of lifting the liner right out of there. Okay, so we're just going to grab a hold of this and just lift it right out. Okay, now you can see we have access to the battery, and there's some fuse panels here. So I'm going to figure out where I want to mount that socket, and then we're going to run the wiring for that. Okay. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is we're going to take this windshield off, and these are Torx 25s, and this is just going to allow us more access to that front compartment. I do have a new windshield for this soon, so we will be replacing that shortly. Okay, next thing is I got to take this bracket off of here. These are 10 millimeters. Okay, move this out of the way. All right, now we have access to the front. All right, so let me get a look in there and see where I want to mount this thing. Next thing I want to do is take this front cover off. This just pops off, and that'll give us access behind there. Okay, now I can see kind of in here what I have access to. Alright, so after looking at everything, it's pretty tight in there, and I'm going to have a little bit of a difficult time trying to find a good mounting spot. So I think what I'm going to do is right on this faceplate, there is a spot right here that it'll fit. And I can put a hole there, and I have plenty of access behind here to run the wiring. So I think that's probably going to be the best spot. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a hole right there that will accommodate this plug. And we'll get that mounted on there, and then we'll run the wiring. So I ended up using my step drill, and I cut a nice perfect circle in there and just mounted it like that. Okay. And now I just got to run the wires through, and we'll get it hooked up. Alright, so they give you this harness. It has the two connections for the socket, and then you have your positive and ground. So what I will do is snake them through that hole there where the socket's going to be, and then we'll run it down into the battery department. Okay, so the easiest way to run this wire, because there is a lot going on in here, is I just took a coat hanger, slid it down through here, and out through here. So I'm just going to attach the wires and then pull it back up through that way, and that way I'll have the wires running through there, because otherwise you have your headlights and fog lights and everything else in the way there, kind of blocking you from feeding your hand through. So we'll go ahead and attach that and pull it back through. Alright, so what I did was I drilled a hole down in the bottom of this, and I removed this excess cover so I could get in there to see where the wires were. Can't really see it, but I had to sneak my hand up in here to grab them. And then I went around to the front, and I was able to pull them out through here, slip it behind the bracket like I did the other one, have them hanging down here. So I just need to put a couple of terminal ends on that. We'll get that stuff all secured, buttoned up, and then I will have my GPS wire when I mount my GPS, and I will have my 12-volt socket ready to roll. Alright, so let me get these terminals hooked up, and we'll get this buttoned up. Alright, so I have the terminals on there now. Everything's hooked up. I can put this all back together. One interesting thing happened to me this morning. When I went to start the bike up, there was a message that popped up, and it said check key, and I was like, that's kind of strange. I wonder why that's coming on. So I did a little research, and I found that people were saying if you get that message, it's probably a bad ground connection. Now when I bought the bike, they had just added this connector here for my battery charger, and I'm wondering if they just didn't tighten it down enough. So I tightened them down a little bit and rode the bike all day, and everything was fine, no issues. So I'm guessing that's all it was. So if you guys get that message, check key, you might want to just look at your connections on your battery just to make sure that they're secured properly. All right, so let me get this liner back in here. Okay, so this simply just drops back in here. Just like that. And we're going to put our little pins in here. Okay, we're going to leave this kind of dangling here so we can connect that when we need to. And then we'll just put this trim piece back on. And that just pops in. Got one there. And one on that side. Alright, so that's all back together. And we can go ahead and just shut this now. Alright, so we have our 12-volt socket here on the dash now, and we have our GPS wire here, so when I hook that back up, that'll be all set, and I can just tuck it out of the way like that. That's why I'm going to go like this. This is for the phone. We'll use that to charge the phone, and then that'll all close up like that. Alright, so let me get the windshield all back on there, and we'll try the two plugs out and make sure they work. So one of the reasons I wanted that 12-volt socket is I like to carry tools with me in case something happens. So if I get a flat tire, I have a plug kit where I can just plug the tire and fill it back up and keep going and not have to sit there and wait for a tow truck. This does run off of a 12-volt, so you can see if I press the button, there's no power there. I plug this in. Now we have power. So that could save me from a potentially bad day. Just having that power there to supply the air pump if I need it. Okay, and then the other thing is going to be the GPS. So let me get this all back together, and then we'll pop the GPS on there and see if it works. So this bar is a very nice addition to the Spyder. It allows you to mount things. Like a lot of people are mounting their cup holders on the bars, which is kind of stupid because when you turn, it's going to tilt and spill your drink everywhere. So this bar here we purchased, and there's basically two bolts that go here that you remove, and you just drop this right in place. One there, one there. We'll tighten that down, and then you can see I have different things mounted on here. So let me tighten that down, and I'll show you the other side. Very simple install. You just take the windshield off, remove the two screws, put the bracket on there, use the two longer screws that it comes with. Okay, and that's it. That thing is on there. I'll get a look on this side. Alright, and you can see I got a couple of different things mounted here. I have a cup holder that we picked up. I have a mount here, which is going to be for my GPS. I have another mount here, which is for the phone holder. So it actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different positions. It does have the cutout here also, so you can still gain access to your things in here, which is nice. So yeah, it's a pretty cool addition. I like it. Comes in very handy for mounting all your different accessories. All right, let's get that windshield back on. Okay, so I have the navigation on the bar, and you can see it is charging. So that's good. Okay, so that was a success. We have power to the outlet, we have power to the Garmin, and one more accessory in the book. Alright guys, well, hope you liked the video. If you do, give a thumbs up, give a like, give a share, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.